Sport is superstition, science, family, drama, love, theatre. It's everything. That's why we've made a betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
Turn up the dial, sports lovers. We are into the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Hello and welcome to Fox Sports Lab NFL. I'm Ben Dixon, your host, and with me, the NFL expert, Jaymz Clements. Welcome, James.
Thanks, Ben. I'm like Tom Brady's kids at the moment. Ready to see my dad? No, just ready. Let's go.
Coming up, what we learned from the wild card round. Our special guest, Freddie Mitchell, will rate the Philadelphia Eagles and all our tips and predictions for week 2 of the playoffs. Let's get straight into it and introduce our very special guest, a man who played in the 2004 Super Bowl with the Eagles. Freddie Mitchell is back. Welcome, Freddie.
Guys, good to be back. What an amazing week of football last week. I'm excited for this week.
Let's get straight into it. Let's recap on the opening weekend, Freddie. What did you learn from the wild card round? Have you got a list of highs and lows for us?
Well, I learned that there's a couple bad teams that will be easy wins for this week, and I will tell you on my predictions later on. But I really did learn that it doesn't matter what kind of quarterback you have. If you have a great system, you're in.
What about you, James? What were the highs of the opening weekend for you?
Well, I think what Fred X is trying to say over here as well is just the simple idea of like, look, you can have someone like Brock Purdy as your quarterback and you can still win, right? That's right, Freddie. I love this. The Niners dominating that game over Seattle in the second half. He looked pretty good, I'll tell you that. But the last pick in the draft was absolutely fantastic. But I think, as Freddie says, right, you can have a system, you can have Kyle Shanahan's system, and you can just go into a game with this, the last pick in the draft and win. You get some absolute vibes from that Niners team. Offense, defense, that dominating defense was amazing. I'll tell you what was also fantastic about this last weekend. How good was Sam Hubbard? The big guy touchdown. I love a good big guy touchdown, Freddie. It's the most sort of fun moment in all of sport, I reckon. That Cincinnati, basically, it would have been going absolutely chaos there, I reckon. Probably the loudest spot on planet Earth at that exact moment is number 98 returning that fumble, and off he goes. But it was a crazy weekend. I've got to agree with Freddie there. It was awesome. So,
well, you did touch on the 49ers. Did they give you a Super Bowl feel?
They did. I think just because that defense was so good and the offense, as Freddie alludes to, right, you can sort of just plug and play with anybody in that system because it's so talented. But, I mean, you've got KC, Kansas City Chiefs, still favourites. Buffalo right behind them. The Niners have shifted ahead of the Eagles in favouritism to actually win the Super Bowl. And then Freddie's former team, the Eagles, in 4th spot. But it's a wild sort of setup going into this divisional round. And these matchups are absolutely incredible. But this wildcard weekend, I mean, there were some weird moments, as Freddie also pointed out.
Well, Freddie, do you have the Super Bowl feel for the 49ers?
Well, you know what? The thing about it is I think that they are on the right role and they're really in the right position. But there's only one trump card that we have. We, and I mean the Philadelphia Eagles, because I am a Philly fan, and I know James is a Boston Patriot fan, so we don't really have to worry about that right now. But as far as the Eagles go, we have home field advantage, and that's going to be big. And you're going to see that in my picks when I show you who I picked and who I have and who's the upsets and things like that.
James, we've touched on the highs. Now, what were the low points for you?
A couple of low points from this wildcard round. Pretty easy. The Chargers blowing a 27-zip lead. That was absolutely horrible. It was abysmal, Dicko. At that point, you're up 27-0. You could almost exclusively literally run the ball on every single down.
Yes.
And almost eke out the entire clock and not lose that game. Of course, Freddie's beloved Dallas Cowboys, his famed NFL East rivals, beating Tom Brady for the first time was pretty incredible. Tom Brady losing for the first time to Dallas was pretty amazing. Bit of a low for him, just because I don't know if sacrificing your family, your marriage for a first-round playoff loss is really worth it, but here we are. That was a bit sad, bit of a low. Watching the Bills and Bengals is probably the low point though. Like having these two really good teams almost blow it. I'd be a bit worried if I was a fan of those teams.
All right, coming up, we will dissect the 2 NFC games of the divisional round playoffs, including a look at Freddie's Eagles.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.